Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Alright, good evening everybody and welcome to the Sim Experience South Africa IBFUSA GT3 World Series. This is our 2023 GT3 series, our first GT3 series that we'll be running in rFactor. In fact, I think it's only the second time we've ever run a GT3 series, and the last time we did it, it was also rFactor, but that was probably 10 years ago, and we had a field of about 10 drivers. Tonight we have, I know there were 20 odd drivers on the server earlier on. Not too sure how many are in right now. I will do a head count shortly, but this is a new series, totally different format. We will have a qualifying of 15 minutes, which will set the grid for a sprint race. The sprint race will only be 6 laps. The drivers will get half the points. That finishing order of the sprint race is your starting order for the feature race. The feature race is a 60-minute race. The points for the 60-minute race will be double the points. So it's a much longer race, double the stakes. So hopefully the guys are prepared for it and have a great, exciting race. Let's just have a look at our schedule. So this, of course, is the first round that we have now coming up. This is Silverstone. We have a 10-round championship. So it will be Silverstone. It will then be Nürburgring next week, then Twin Ring Rumpetegi. Then we head off to Imola, then Long Beach, which is a fantastic street circuit in America. Then we head over to Spa. Then Mexico Grand Prix circuit, then Montreal, Canada, then Sebring, which is another fantastic one, probably one of the bumpiest racetracks in the world, but an absolutely fantastic track. And we go from a bumpy, tightish track to a very fast track. So the final round at Monza Grand Prix circuit, so fast and flowing, totally different to the track before it. So that will be our championship rounds. And then, of course, the points system. The sprint race, like I said, gets half the points of the main race, but not only half, it only gets points up to 15th place, while the feature race gets points up to 20th place. There's also a point for pole position, so the driver who qualifies for pole position for the sprint race gets a point, as well as 1 point for fastest lap in both races. So you can get a fastest lap point in race 1, the sprint race, and in the feature race. So that will be how the races will work points wise, so the drivers can work with that. Alright, at the moment I believe we're about to go live into qualifying. In fact, I think we might even have some drivers on track already. So let us perhaps jump live into qualifying. Let's just transition over into that in a moment. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look at this while I'm trying to see what is happening in the background here. Let's transition over into that. So of course, we are now live with the IBFUSA GT3 World Series. It's official. We have finally started the series. We've had so many setbacks. This is the official qualifying series. Qualifying round, I should say, of the first rounds qualifying. I'll get it out eventually. Apologies, I'm very rusty. So this is a 15-minute qualifying session around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. We are currently, in the background, we see Peter Geldenes. There's something that is new for us this time around. We all have some driver profiles. So some of the drivers will have their profiles. Not all the drivers have submitted all their details, so unfortunately we don't have every driver's details, but we have a lot of drivers that we can show you in the meantime. So Peter is one of the drivers that we do have some details. I believe I do have his details here, so let me see if I can find that to show you. If I do have them, which I actually don't, so perhaps I can jump to a driver and just give you a little bit of idea of what we're going to be doing this time around with this series, something a little different to the previous series. So perhaps we can, let's jump to who's on track. We can see let's jump to Peter Murray. So Peter Murray currently on track. There he is driving on track. Let me go see if I can find his. I know I do have his here. So for those of you who don't know Peter Murray, you can now see his picture on the bottom right. So our driver skins now have the driver profiles built into it, so we know who the real world drivers are. These are real world drivers driving simulated race cars. A lot of them have real world experience. There of course is Peter there. He's 31 years old, comes from Namibia. Highest he's finished in a championship so far with us is 11th place. I believe he has finished higher in other championships, but with us 11th place is his current highest finish. I believe he's looking quite good in this series to beat that, so fingers crossed for him. Right, so just under 12 minutes left to go. A very quick qualifying session. Our only Corvette at the moment is Timo Smit. Timo decided to take a challenge and go for a car that not everyone else has, which I really enjoy that challenge. And good to see a Corvette, because the Corvette is a nice car to drive, and it certainly is fantastic the way it sounds. So currently we have 30 drivers on track. I believe we have 31 or 32 drivers signed up for the championship. 2 will not join tonight. They should join for the following rounds. Of course, hello to our YouTube. Good to have everyone watching us on the YouTube already. We have Caroline Yost. Good evening, Caroline. Glad you're here again. Mariki Hildebrandt, I guess you're here for Andre, so good evening and good to see you here. We have George Hall. Good to see you, George. Hopefully you're doing well and your other racing is going well. And we have Teresa and Kruger. Good evening, Teresa. I guess you're here for one of our newer drivers. Let's see if I can find him on track. I do have his profile. Let's see if I can actually find him and you can get to see who you're supporting. Let's see, where is he now? I believe he is in a Mercedes. Right, there we have. Wayne, unfortunately, is in the pits. So I can't show you him driving, but I can show you that he is there. He is in the pits. We're currently just not on track, so we will keep an eye on Wayne. Of course, we have Andre on track as well. One of the other things that we've also introduced for this championship, it is a much larger field of drivers with 30 drivers plus. We also have a Veterans Championship running simultaneously with this championship, so drivers 60 years and older automatically qualify for the Veterans Championship. So Andre Hildebrand on circuit at the moment, he is a veteran driver. So he will be one of the drivers that will automatically get points towards his Veteran Championship along with Harvey Goes and some of the other drivers. Let's see if I can find Andre's picture for you so we know who Andre is. There we have Andre. Andre Hildebrand is 67 years old. He's a South African driver. Highest he's finished with us is 6th place. Very fast driver, especially considering his age. He's still very capable, as are a lot of the older drivers. You don't always lose too much speed as you get older. As the saying, the faster you get, the older you get, the faster you were. You see yellow there, one of the Ferraris spinning off in the background there. I believe that was one of the... Who would that be? Either Stan or Dinesh? So perhaps we can also have a look at some of other data here. So let's get that up. So with that up, we can actually now see the gap between some of the other drivers. So we can see Andre currently on track is behind Sean Johnson. I don't know why it's saying that. I guess the position who's the next car up, and he is 3 seconds up the road. Quite a lot of cars here. And one of the cars that we see Andre currently passing in a Porsche right in front of Andre. I'm not sure which one that is. Let's see if I can find which one that is. That might be... I think the driver is on an outlap because I don't see a time there. I'm not sure if that's Donny. In fact, it is Donny. Donny Belafonte. I'm not sure if I have butchered your name. Sorry if I have, Donny. I believe Donny is the manager of this team in the real world. This team is the Fach Auto Tech team. This is the esports team. Fach Tech Auto Esport. They of course are Fach Tech Auto. They race in the Mobile One Porsche Super Cup series in the real world. The car looks exactly like it does here in the sim. So following this series, we will be doing a Porsche Cup series, and it looks like the real world drivers from the Porsche Cup will be joining us for that. So that we will have hopefully Donny and his teammate Stanton in a separate team from the real world drivers. They will be in their own team. So fantastic to have some real world drivers, top line drivers that drive their real cars come joining us. So fantastic. Donny hasn't been on the server much this week. He was on last week. Stanton has been on quite a lot. Stanton's been showing some really good pace as well. Perhaps we can just jump to Stanton a bit. He's currently in the pits. There's Stanton. So currently our pace setter is Chris Collison from Jason Underwood. Jason Underwood is currently our outgoing BMW Cup champion. He won the very first season of that, and then he won the second season. We had 2 seasons from 22. Unfortunately, the second season, due to load shedding and various other reasons, carried over into 23. But 2022 season 1 and season 2 champion, so he was able to successfully defend his championship. So currently one of the pace setters, and Chris is, I think, a fraction faster than him at the moment by 0.09 ahead of his teammate, who is, I think, directly behind him on track at the moment. So there we have Chris, and there we have Jason. Looks like they are chasing down one of the High Revolution drivers. And then in third place, I don't think that's right behind him, I think he's further down the road, is Adrian Nell. I'm pretty sure these three are going to be fighting it hard at the front. And it looks like we're going to have some new challengers joining them for this season. So it looks like Gerrit Bukes. Hope you haven't said your name incorrectly. He's also a new driver with us and showing really good pace. So up there at the moment, he's in 4th place. We're slightly further up the road, driving a BMW M4. And currently ahead of Stanton in his Porsche. And then we have Jean-Louis de Toy in another, down the road there, in another Aston Martin. So we have quite a nice spread of different cars. We have just had Timo Smith put up the fastest time. So Timo Smith takes provisional pole position. And as he runs off, they obviously just did his lap and decided that's it, going to pit. So Timo Smith, provisional pole position from Chris Collison and Jason Underwood. Fantastic lap there by Timo. And then another new driver is Antonio De Lima. So we have quite a nice spread of cars at the moment. Of course, our series is sponsored by IBF USA. IBF USA is, for those that don't know, is Stan Bezedenote. Of course, is driving here. As we see him on track there, and his fantastic looking Ferrari. Absolutely amazing how that skin looks. Looking good on track as well. Unfortunately, hasn't put in a competitive time. Let's see if this does it for Stan. He should hopefully jump up the grid a little bit here. No, that might have been an out lap. No time from that lap, so we'll see how his times pan out. Of course, our drivers, when they do the races, they will get penalty points. You get 5 penalty points for track limits. So in the sprint race, they have 6 laps. You'll probably see the guys will push the limits a bit more. But in the main race, if they use those 5 points up, they will get a drive-through penalty. And if they don't serve the drive-through penalty, they will get a stop-go penalty. If they don't serve that, they will get a black flag, which is a disqualification. Right, so as we see, slight pause, I think someone was joining the server there. Alright, and one of the other drivers, let's have a look at, of course, that we were looking at earlier. Oh, sorry, we weren't looking at earlier. But of course, driving tonight with us is Hilke. Hilke, of course, is the CEO of Alwyn Glass. So for those of you who don't know, Alwyn Glass is one of our sponsors as well. They have helped us out with many of our hardware that we are running. So they will be a part of our family for pretty much forever. Hilke is a big part of Sim Experience SA. Without Hilke, you know, we wouldn't be where we are today. Currently, we have Stan sponsoring us with IBF USA, and we're very grateful for all the sponsors that we have, and of course all our drivers that we have. The drivers, we have a fantastic community. They all play their part. So thank you to all of them. But the 2 major ones have been Alwyn and now IBF USA. So fantastic to have Hilke joining us. Doesn't always get the time to join us, but thank you, Hilke. Glad to have you with us. See, I'm getting it slightly wrong there. Perhaps I can, let's change up what we have on screen at the moment. Let's go to qualifying so we can see how Hilke is doing. And then perhaps while we're looking at how Hilke is doing, I can also let you know that Hilke is another one of our drivers that will be driving in the veterans category. There we have Hilke. Oops, sorry. Back on, we have one that shouldn't be up there. Sorry about that. Finger trouble. Hilke is 62 years of age. Thus, he's in the veterans category. Highest Hilke has finished is only 15th, but that is a bit deceptive. Hilke has never been able to complete a complete championship. He seems to always have all kinds of interruptions with his work schedule. But fantastic to have Hilke joining us. Of course, if you have any glass needs, you can head over to www.alban.co.za.
Hi, Dennis.
Good evening, good evening. Good to have you back, Sean. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah. I'm just staring at amazement in this lap scoring monitor that has 30 cars. Yes, you've heard it right. 30 cars out on track. So I think there's 1 or 2. You did give the number earlier, and I was listening with half an ear with 1.5 minutes to go in qualifying. That there, I think, are 31 or 32 entered, and only 1 or 2 that won't make it tonight. So 30 cars is the most that I've ever seen in sim racing in South Africa in the while that I have been involved. And it certainly is going to be a mouthful in this very busy Silverstone circuit.
Yes, I think it's really amazing to see this. We have a new server which hopefully is going to handle it all nicely. So that's hopefully being put to the test in the right manner, with all the right drivers having a fantastic race. I think the sprint race is going to be chaos with 30 drivers trying to get the best result possible in 6 laps.
That's what I have noticed in the subtitles when you give the drive, like Andre now, he isn't car number 11, he's actually in P11. So that just to qualify it, and then we can go to the lap scoring monitor, and he's actually car number 9.
That's correct.
So, yeah. And then it shows the target time that he has, and
there we can see his car number in his driver profile as well. It shows he is car number 9. He's 40 years of age. He's from Namibia. He's part of the PZN Panel Beaters team, and I believe he's the owner of PZN Panel Beaters. I'm not sure if he's CEO or exactly what his denomination is there, but his PZN panel beaters. Good to have the highest finished as well, second place, almost taking a championship, very, very close in a championship. So one of our better drivers. Unfortunately, getting a little bit loose there. I'm just going to take that away for now.
I think also the fact that with the GT3 Championship, the drivers have many cars to choose from is going to make this a very interesting series. Oh, lose the back end.
And our time has finished. So currently we have Timo Smit on provisional pole. He has pitted on a 1:59.9. We have Chris Collison currently on track. I'm not sure if he's going to improve. He is slightly down in the first sector, slightly up in the middle sector, so he could improve. He needs to find 0.179 of a second to be able to equal Timo Smit. Of course, he'd need to go faster than that to take provisional pole, but let's see if he comes across the line, if he's able to. Currently sitting in second place. Does he improve?
No.
He actually did improve. He's now 0.71. Just not enough.
Yeah. Just another thing that I've noticed about Silverstone.
Jason on for a good lap. Sorry to butt in. Fastest first sector, personal best in the middle sector. So let's keep an eye on him as he comes across the line, and then you can carry on.
Yeah, let's wait for him for the final.
There we go. Pole position. Excellent.
Yeah. Final last lap as a purple. So you got two greens, which is personal best for sector 1 and sector 2, and then a purple, which is everybody best or better than anybody else in sector 3, and then obviously that makes his lap a purple. Well, that's not obvious, but we see the purple in front of us, which tells us that it's the quickest lap, and he goes to P1. So Team Harder Racing are first and third, with Timo Smit in the Minions racing car between the two of them.
And that is qualifying over. So we're going to jump to a quick ad break while the drivers get on the grid, and we'll be back shortly for the 6-lap sprint race.
See you then.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Alright, welcome back everybody. We are now live. We are live for race 1, which is our sprint race. So the drivers are now heading out on their formation lap behind the safety car. It is a rolling start. Of course, I am your commentator, Dennis Mitchell, and I'm joined tonight by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening, Dennis, and what a privilege again to be with sim racing and at Silverstone tonight.
Alright, so then let's have a look at... Let me just get everything ready on my side here so I don't push the wrong buttons. Let's have a look at our starting order, if I can find that here.
I can run through the quali sheet for you quickly.
It will be on screen at the moment, so you can go through it if you'd like. You have to be quick.
Okay, Jason Underwood, Team Harder Racing, Timo Smit, Minions Racing. Third is Chris Collison, Team Harder Racing. And fourth, Gerrit Beekes, a very quick Gerrit Beekes. Sean Olivier, Stanton Augustus, number 997. That's one of the new Porsche entrants. Jean-André de Toy, number 737. Richard Sillier, 101 is 8th. Antonio de Lima, number 24 is 9th. Jandre Dippenaar, number 9 is in 10th position. Adib Hamildin, number 119 is 11th. And 12th is Julian Brains, car number 40. 13th, Peter Marais, he's number 420. Number 88, Peter Geldnys is 14th. Then Rian van der Westhuizen, Dean Ashton, Jeffrey Roos, Dani Stan, Morne de Toy, Sean Johnson, André Hildebrand, Gavi Gous, Marius van Wyk, Stan Besaidnet, Donny Bellafronte, Rudy van der Westhuizen, Wessel Vioen, and Hilke Virenga, making up 28th. It looks as though 28 cars have made it to the start.
So that is quite a lot to get through there. You managed to get through it quite fast. I'm not sure where the two drivers were. There were 30 on track earlier, but yeah, we seem to have lost some.
So certainly very, very interesting to see such a big field. And I didn't even get time to go through the layout of the Silverstone circuit. But one thing I did notice while they're still out on track is that the start line, if I have it correctly, is way down the straight. But the finish line is just after Club Corner. So the finish line is just as you get out of Club Corner, but the start line is further down the Hamilton Straight.
Yes. Right,
You've painted grid slots that will indicate to you that the start line is further down, but you'll see as they come out of Club, about 1/3 at a guess of the way down the straight, you'll see that the finish line is right there. So position into and out of Club Corner in the race is going to be ultimate.
I'm not sure if this shot will work now, but let's have a quick look at this. See how it's running. Looking back from our pole position holder, Jason Underwood. We see all the drivers scrubbing their tires in the background, weaving around. Just to the left in top picture, we'll see every now and again a glimpse of Timo.
And it's nice to see the picture at the bottom with everybody sort of in the distance. You can see the two Team Harder cars, Jason Underwood, who we're looking out from at the back, and directly behind him is Chris Collison. But as you said, to the one side of that will be Timo Smit. There's Timo now in the yellow and black car, looking very sexy indeed.
All right, the driver is coming up to the end of the lap now. They need to stay in position until they cross the formation, so they do not gun it now as the safety car pulls in. They have to stay in position. They will get a notification that it's green flag as they come around the final corner, but they have to stay in position until they get to the finish line. They can speed up, but if they pass someone, they will get a penalty. Right, as we now get ready to go live. I'm sure the drivers are very, very excited. This is the official start of the series. And we're away. It's green flag. 30 drivers heading down to turn 1.
The front 5 seem to have gotten away from the rest. A little bit of rubbing, but rubbing is racing. And I think they've settled into the positions that they were when they came across the line slowly. And everybody, nice sequence. There's 4 cars abreast. That's not going to work. But they seem to have sorted themselves out.
Someone has gone wide there. I think it was Monet de Toy in the Ferrari. I believe it was Monet. Yes, unfortunately it was.
He's got to get back on track, and that's going to be last. And in a 6-lap race, there's not much time to recover from that position, and he'll be slow, and the tires will be full of grass and all those things that you don't want to hear. And he's going to have quite a battle gaining position back on the track.
One of the drivers that has definitely impressed me in the GT3s is Gavi Gous, who we have on screen at the moment. He has struggled in a lot of the cars, but these GT3s, he seems to be a lot more competitive. And some of the cars he's been 6-7 seconds off the pace. He just can't find his footing. Then when we drive in a different sim called Automobilista, he was the fastest guy. He actually won some of the races. He won the races in, I believe it's the classic Kyle Army driving the Formula V's the one night, which of course is what he drove in the real world. But in this sim, he just struggles to get his feel. But in these cars, he seems to be a lot more competitive. He's still not at the top, but he's not at the back anymore. He used to be one of the sort of tail runners. Now he's midfield. So really nice to see Harvey actually showing some pace.
Harvey's quick on the day that he gets himself and the car in tune with each other. And as you say, with this series and the car that he's running in, he seems to be running quite comfortably. He's of course he's also going to be running in the veterans, if I get the name wrong, sorry about that, but in the older gentleman's class, let's call them that. Harvey's 75, he's not a youngster, but also in South African terms, real racing in Formula V, I think the only driver to have won a championship in 3 different decades in the same championship. Formula V in the 70s, the 80s and the 90s, if I'm correct.
Absolutely incredible feed.
Yeah.
Sorry, not feed.
So he's in a battle royale. There's 3 of them very, very close together, which he leads as he goes past us now. I'm going to find him. Harvey Goos is in 19th. He's got Stan Besaidnout, our series sponsor, and Marius van Wyk. It's cars numbers 13, 36, and 77 right there with each other. So you can see Harvey, then Stan Besaidnout, then Marius van Wyk, who we're looking forward from. And they've got a nice battle. Oh, Harvey makes a mistake. The
One
jinx
of the
on him. Somebody
BMWs
spins
there.
off.
I believe that was Mr. De Lima, Anthony De Lima or Tony De Lima.
Yes, Antonio. Yeah, car number 24, I think it is. Yes, as he goes off the leaderboard, and Harvey still holds on. Marius van Wyk puts in a challenge there, but doesn't look as though he's going to be able to pass Stan. Stan also making the car very wide, and for those that aren't racers, if you go a little bit off the racing line, that means the guy can't actually take the racing line because there's enough of your car blocking it. But there's also half of your car off the racing line, so you can't go around the outside comfortably as they finish another lap.
While we're watching all this excitement throughout the fields, it's hard to follow all the excitement with 30 plus cars. But at the front, we have quite a good battle going on. So let's go have a look at the battle there. We have Timo right behind Jason at the moment, having a good look there.
Timo's half a second, just under half a second behind Jason, and it looks as though they're getting away from Chris Collison. But it's only another, well, it's under a second, but 0.8 of a second that Chris Collison is behind Timo. But then again, you've got a first finish to finish first. So maybe just holding on to that for now. But Timo Smith running a good, and we've also had Timo on the podium in other classes, so we know that he's quick given the chance. I know in one of the rolling starts he was off like a scalded cat, and nobody saw him ever again until they got to talk to him on the podium. So certainly a good race that one was for him back then, but a good qualifying and a good race for him, a good start so far.
Yeah, fantastic. As we see him hanging in there, it looks like, as we were saying, he's pulling away from Chris, that he made a slight mistake and Chris has caught him, and I think the gap is kind of neutralized a bit, the gap between Chris and Timo and Jason. Jason is thinking a little bit more safe ground, although Timo does have the fastest middle sector now, and he's got the fastest lap of the race as well, over 2 minutes, 0.757.
That bright purple behind his name, he's going to be very proud of. And he was the only, well, for a long time in the qualifying session, he was the only guy to run sub 2 minutes until Jason got quicker. But now they're running live in a sprint race, so they won't have much fuel. It'll be very similar to what they ran in qualifying, and they're running in the 2 minutes 0.9 seconds. The fastest lap was Timo Smith so far this race, 2 minutes 0.757.
And of course, not too far behind, we have Sean Ulif here. He's also been very competitive in these cars, and also some of the cars that he's struggled with in. He's not found his footing yet in rFactor 2. He's admitted that rFactor 2 he's just struggled a bit with, but looking a lot more comfortable in these cars. And Sean is a fast driver. We've seen him win the championship in a set of courses, so we know he's got pace. And he's there, and one of our new drivers, Gerrit, is right behind him. So Gerrit having a good look there at Sean as well. And in the background we see Stanton Augustus, also coming under threat now, I believe from Richard Silier, currently our top PZN driver.
He's car number 101. Not that you can see it, but we recognize the colors of the PZN team, the white, black, and red. And the Porsche is Stanton Augustus, and he runs with the Porsche team that you mentioned, the e-racing team. So it's nice to see that he's as competitive as what he is in 6th position. and also is involved with motor racing proper. Here's the finish line as they go across the finish line, and there was the start line. So just to give you an idea, they're in different positions. It's the same thing at Zwartkops. The finish line is just after the corner and the start line is way down the road. So I think it's just to accommodate the cars, otherwise they wouldn't have them. The cars would be actually around the corner, especially with a field of 30. So the start line is further down. We'll see it in the static start, or is the main race also a rolling start?
Both races are rolling starts.
Okay, with these big cars, with the horsepower that they have, that makes a lot of sense that you actually have rolling starts. They actually sort themselves out on the way to the start line, and I think you don't want to, in a sprint race, you don't want to lose it all on the first corner, so you give up a spot and live to fight another day. There goes a PZN car, just recognize the colors. Quite a lot of Beamers in this field. So
yeah, seems to be the car of choice.
Car number 9 there was Jandre Dippenaar, and he's in 8th position. Just as you can see his name there in P8, and he's a long way back. He's 6 seconds behind Richard Silvier, who's in the 7th position, and Richard's car number is 101.
Another driver right behind Rian van der Westhuizen at the moment is Pieter Geldenhuys. He is also a veteran driver with really good pace. I think he might be our top veteran driver actually, with excellent pace at the moment, sitting in 10th place, giving Rian a hard time.
Having spoken so well about Javi, he must have had an off, because he's down in 24th position, where we were reporting him, I think, up in 16th. Well, he was ahead of Marius, and Marius is 18th. So he's had a bad turn of fortune, but still running. So hopefully, and has just gained a position on Antonio de Lima. So Javi goes up into 23rd now.
We have 2 drivers that have DNFs already, which is Jean de Toy and Stan Bezuidenhout. Unfortunately, not sure what happened to them. I know we did see some incidents, but we didn't see those incidents.
Stan, the series sponsor, and Jean-Ray de Toy, part of the Boeing Brigade. You'll see them, if you see one of the cars in a bright lime green and black, that's the Boeing Brigade. And I just want to get their numbers for you so that you know what to look out for. Car 737 is Jean-Ray de Toy. In fact, I'm on the wrong spreadsheet, so let me close that one. Get down to them. Cars 737 is Jean-Ray de Toy is running an Aston Martin, and Morno de Toy is number 777, and they are also from the PZN racing team, but they are in lime green. It's the best way to say it. Who was it that was that wide in front of Sean Johnson?
I think it was one of the cars in front of Peter, who's in front of him. Possibly the Ferrari of Dinesh, yeah?
Yeah. So I'll be quite honest with you, I haven't spent enough time watching races on this track to get through all the corners, and there are many of them. But just a little bit of interest. If you go down the back straight, which is called the Hanger Straight, the corner they get to is Stowe. That in Formula 1 is the quickest part of the circuit, and the Formula 1 cars get to 325 kilometers an hour before Stowe corner. And this might be it now, because this is quite a long straight. Stowe corner is a 90 degree, but it's a long ongoing corner, and then sort of a slight left. So if there's, now this is a 90 left and 90 right, so that might be after Vale before Club. And if they start a new race after that, then I was in the right place. Yes, indeed, I was on the circuit. So that straight that I just mentioned a few seconds ago, F1 gets to 325 kilometers an hour.
Drivers are now on the final lap. This is the 6th lap of 7. This is the battle for the lead. This top 3 battle that's pulled away slightly from Sean. Nice sandwich, yeah.
Sorry, Dennis, we're butting in with each other. If things carry on the way they are now, then Timo Smith theoretically is the first person to score a point in the championship, because he has the fastest lap.
Yes, correct. Unless Jason gets it on the last lap.
Also possible. But,
or anyone else.
Yeah, they're running first, second, and third the way that they qualified, which I think is the sensible thing to do. The points in the bag are always worthwhile. They close. It's 0.43 of a second that Timo's behind Jason. That's for first and second. And only 0.6 of a second further back is Chris Collison. So it's cars number 11, 84, and 22 for first, second, and third.
And they're about to come across the line. Oh, well, sorry, that's the other line. That's the endurance line. We're actually using the Formula 1 layout. So we start at the new pits. That was the old pits that they've crossed, which is where endurance racing, I think, still goes because there's more pit garages there.
Yeah. This must be a lovely circuit to drive, just looking at the number of corners that they have. You only get a chance to rest, I think, down the hanger straight. Maybe from Woodcote to Cops, because that's a sweeping right-hander to Maggots. But yeah, typically one of those ex-World War II airfields that's very flat has been converted into a racetrack, and a very, very nice one at that.
Looks like Richard Celia has got a penalty, not sure for what, and we see Andre Hildebrandt in the pits. So there has been some action. We're kind of following the lead here at the moment, and of course we don't have Timo anymore.
Corner.
So while I'm clicking on things to see what's happening, we've lost Timo. Sean has taken over third, so we have Jason in first, from Chris, from Sean, and then Timo in fourth
Timo
place.
in fourth.
Richard, who will come across the line in sixth place behind Garrett. I think Richard has been demoted because of a penalty. Stanton takes sixth place. Good finish there for Stanton. Richard currently in seventh. I think he's... Did he go off? Why is he in the pits? I'm not too sure why drivers are in the pits. It is a bit peculiar. Oh, maybe he was serving the penalty so that he can still get his position without too many drops.
Just one thing that I have a query, and I've got to go back to my notes, is that the first race is a 6th lap race.
Yes.
And the lap scoring monitors show that this is the end of lap 7. Did it count the positioning lap as lap 1? Or are the results actually 1 lap ago?
I think it shows that in while we are live, but it only counts the 6th, the final actual race laps.
Okay. That makes sense. I must actually look at that next time when they start, whether it clicks over to the completion of lap 1, even though it's the start. We're getting used to all of this as well ourselves. Team Harder Race have certainly made a killing on this one.
Yes. I'm going to jump to an ad break now. I'm going to go now set the grid for race 2, which takes a while. So let me do that. I'll let you guys watch an ad, get to find out a bit more about who IBFUSA are, and we'll be back with you shortly.
See you then.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Alright, welcome back everybody. It is race 2 is now live. I am your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined once again by the fantastic Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean.
Thanks, Dennis. Flattery will get you everywhere.
Alright, we're going to just let you guys know this is of course the IBFUSA GT3 World Series Round 1 Race 2. This is the feature race. This is a 60-minute race. Drivers are now on their outlap behind the safety car. So we can just have a look at the starting order. Let me get that up in a moment. I just need to click on the right things so that I don't click the wrong things. Fortunately, I do that, I click the wrong things. So let's just do this, where we can at least see who is where. Jason Underwood in first place from Chris Collison, from Sean Olivier and Timo Smith. In 5th place, Gerrit Bukes. In 6th place, Stanton Augustus. 7th place, Jandre Duppenaar. 8th place, Rian van der Westhuizen. In 9th place, Peter Geldenees. 10th place, Peter Marais. 11th place, we have Dean Ash. In 12th place, Sean Johnson. 13th place, Julian Brains. 14th place, Donny Belafonte. 15th place, Adib Gamildian. 16th place, Jeffrey Roux. Is it Roux or? Yeah, I guess it's Roux.
I don't know if that's a spell error, or if it's Afrikaans, it'll be Roux with an X. Otherwise, it's Roos or Roux.
And then Monet du Toit, Wessel. And then I kind of got lost there. So Gavichos, Hilke Vereniger, Antonio de Lima, and Rudy van der Westhuizen. Or is it Hilke Verenga?
It's 19th is Dani Stander, 20th is Richard Stillier, then Gavi, then Hilke Verenga, then Antonio de Lima in 23rd, Rudy van der Westhuizen, Marius van Wyk, Andre Hildebrand now at 26th position, Jandre du Toit, Stan Besaidnout, Adriaan Nel, and Wayne Kruger in 30th.
Alright, so that is our starting order.
The top 1, 2, 3, 4 cars are on the hard compound. That's Jason, Chris, Sean, and Timo. Then we have 2 cars on the medium compound, Gerrit Bukes and Stanton Augustus. And then I just want to see who's gone out on a soft. Monet du Toit, part of the Boeing Brigade, number 777 is on a soft, as is Adriaan Nel. Is there a combo?
I wonder if that's by mistake.
Okay. It could be. And then also we have for Sean Johnson, he has a mix of hard and medium. So I wonder if he's got hard on the front and medium on the rear. Not sure what all is possible, but it is an endurance race, so you can and probably will see strange things happening here. but it's interesting to see that the top four, and they're going to be the pace setters. Well, they'll probably be hard chased initially by Gerrit Beekes and Stanton Augustus. Look out for car number 3, Gerrit Beekes, and 997 Stanton Augustus chasing, because they're on mediums, which will probably give them better grip than the hards, but won't last as long. So a lot of strategy to be kept in mind in a 60-minute endurance race like this one. And the fuel stop, which we think will happen somewhere.
Yeah, I think the tires, you could possibly push it, but the fuel, I don't think the drivers can. I think if they drive really, really sedately, they can make it to the end. But I think the drivers are going to push a bit hard, so I think we will see a couple of stops. But let's see if our predictions pan out or not.
And here they come to the S before club for the start.
Right, here we go. The driver's getting ready to go. And we're away, officially away in the feature race. 60 minutes, here we go. So we're watching Sean Olivier, who is part of Thorax Racing. He's our current Radical Cup champion from our Assetto Corsa Championship. See a little bit of action happening in the background, a little bit of stuttering happening as well. I think we have a penalty for Rudy.
Trying to get past Timo Smit. He's trying very good. Or he's trying very hard, if I get my brain and my thoughts and to my mouth in the right sequence. They're actually very close, not the first 3, but behind them, I'd say Timo Smit, Stanton Augustus, Gerrit Beekes, and Jandre Dippenaar. And also, there's a change. Jandre Dippenaar has got past Rian van der Westhuizen, who passes Jandre right back, and Jandre passes right back again. So Rian loses to Pieter Marais. So everything's happening here for 7th, 8th, and 9th. So that's where the rubbing is happening, and they are racing really hard.
And I'm not sure if it's Pieter Marais that's got a penalty. I think it is, judging by that. I'm trying to think, who was the other Marais? We did have another Marais. I just can't remember which one it was.
Quick glance and just see. I can't find another one on the... It's only Peter that I can see in front of me with the surname Marais.
I think it was a previous championship that I'm getting names.
Yeah.
It was another Marais at some point.
They still at each other. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, but look at them fighting each other. And what's happening is the fact that the front, and we'll wait for the camera to pan around, 1, 2, 3, 4 cars with Timo Smit at the back. Those 4 are getting away from Stanton Augustus, Gerrit Beekes, Jandre Dippenaar, Rian van der Westhuizen, Pieter Marais, and Sean Johnson. Here's another Gerrit Beekes.
Move around the outside. That is very good. That was nice and clean.
Let's see what Jandre is running. Jandre is running the hards. Stanton is running the mediums. So
we see Pieter Marais diving into the pit. Sorry to butt in there. He's diving in for his penalty early rather than late. He has 3 laps to do it. He's deciding to do it straight away.
Yeah, which is probably the better way to do it, because you still have time in the race to catch up the other guys before they decide to come into the pits. And of course, with a penalty, you can't do anything to the car. You come in, serve the time penalty, and you go. Or can you do this time penalty, and as soon as the time has passed, although they're not far enough into the race, to either take on fuel or to change tires?
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time passed. I mean, it's 1 lap. I don't know. Is it that close? Maybe it is that close, and doing a fuel stop now would help. But when you do your penalty, you can't do a pit stop. So it's a penalty only.
Okay, that makes sense. And in this race, Timo Smit is almost 1.5 seconds adrift of the top 3, which are Chris Collison, Jason Underwood, and Sean Olivier. The car numbers are 22, 11, and 137. And Timo in the Minions car number 84, a little bit, I think he's running a little bit isolated now. Here's Adib Hamildin fighting Adrian now. We're looking forward out of Adrian's car, and Adib right ahead of him. So fighting for 14th and 15th position. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to be doing each other, and that's mid-pack, really mid-pack. And there's a nice battle as they finish the start-finish straight, and that's the Hamilton straight. And you can guess after a little bit of a mistake there from Adib, but it doesn't look as though Adrian was close enough to catch on to that.
And of course, seeing our banner there, that is our sponsor. You can head over to www.ibfusa.info if you would like to have any sorry.
Oh,
A lot
there's
of
a
action
nudge.
there.
I think that car was actually just slow out of the corner.
Yeah, he was losing
Um,
it, and Adrian had to sort of back out of it, and he couldn't because the back end started to come around with the lift-off oversteer.
Yeah.
That was a bit
So,
close.
I'm not sure what happened. Let's just see where they are now. Adib is down to 20th. And Adib is actually, he's got a mistake in the car because he's falling down the lap scoring monitor and probably all the way to the bottom. So whether he has a problem in the car or a problem having lost contact to the server or what it is, I don't know. Ooh, somebody going off the circuit. So as I say, using the circuit and then some. So I'm not sure whether the server will give him one of those 5 warnings for track limits. Because
sure he
definitely
will.
was way off the track there.
I think if you don't gain an advantage, it won't warn you, but it's very difficult to not gain an advantage. It sees an advantage, I would say, what's the opposite of aggressively? Very passively. So you've got to be so
Yes.
careful. You have to really roll off a lot to not be seen as gaining an advantage.
The obvious thing, if we had the time to do the analytics, is to check how far that car was behind the car in front of him before going so wide and see how far he's behind that car after running so wide. In other words, when you run a wider line, you can actually keep the foot buried a little bit more than running a narrow line. So if he does gain a noticeable advantage, and of course the server is way quicker than what we are, then maybe the server can decide that there was an advantage. And I'm just talking in theory. I'm not the judge of fact by any means, but certainly it could be seen that way.
And of course, we have an extremely close battle running at the front at the moment. I believe it is Chris Collison. He is currently being chased by his teammate, Jason Underwood,
Yeah.
who we are now on board with.
Yeah, so they've got a battle and they're getting away, or they're away from Sean Olivier, who's 1.5 seconds adrift, and Timo Smith 1.3 seconds behind Sean Olivier. So then he's in fact now over 2.5 seconds is Timo behind Sean Olivier, and then a further 2 seconds. I'm just looking where the battles are. Jandre is only 0.5 second behind Stanton Augustus. That's 6th and 5th. Let's go further down. Gerrit Beekes is only 0.5 second behind Jandre. So that's a nice battle. Gerrit Beekes on Jandre and Jandre on Stanton. That's for 7th, 6th, and 5th position. Reading them backwards. And then further down, where's there anything? Oh, good battle between Adrian Nel, 0.1 of a second behind Dinesh. That's 12th and 11th. So that's also a battle worth watching if they have in-car.
There we see that. Three of them there together. Adrian, of course, having a problem with race 1, not being able to race. I'm not sure if he disconnected and just couldn't reconnect or what, but making his way back up through the field now. He had to start, I think, second last, and he's now already up to 11th place.
The blue and white car that you see there, Dinesh Singh, certainly looking good in the livery. And who was that went off there? So there's Dinesh trying to catch up to Adrian in the orange car. And that's going very, very well, number 15. So Adrian, we've seen Adrian out and quick before, and he's made a nice gap between himself and Dinesh now. I think whether he was just holding back. Who's that in the pits? It looks certainly like Harvey Ghost.
Harvey Ghost and Dani Stander both in the pits, so I'm not sure.
That's GDR Racing.
And we
The
have
whole team.
Adib Gamildian has got a DNF. We have Dani and Harvey in the pits. Dani gets out first. I know Harvey had just got a penalty, so he's serving his penalty. It might be a 10-second stop go. Hopefully that is the penalty and it's not a drive-through and he's maybe serving the incorrect penalty.
And so certainly the survey is strict. Tonight on the endurance race, we have a quick look to see 52 minutes and counting.
And look how
As it
close
comes on,
this pack is here. Look at all the cars on. Okay, we have a big field. It's going to be close. There's going to be a lot of cars, especially when the guys start spreading out and there's going to be just someone in your view at all times.
Yeah, it certainly is nice to look down the lap scoring monitor and see that there are little private battles all over. I mean, look at those that I didn't even have a chance to catch the car numbers that just went past out of view from left to right. They are running, and yeah, they come through now. Is this to start? I haven't found my way around the circuit yet, to be quite honest. It is to start another lap. So certainly it's going to be interesting racing. It's Peter Gelnaes and Adrian Nel. It's the one we mentioned earlier. So that is 0.2 of a second between the two of them. But if literally you could fit one car between the two of them, from nose to tail, and it changes depending where they are.
There comes
while we're
Adrian.
talking about that, who comes through between them? Is that
And straight over the next place. So don't mind me just coming past.
yes, yeah, you carry on defending, and I'll just take the position from you. So I think that's Sean Johnson if it's number 52.
52 is Sean Johnson, but that was Adrian coming past.
Okay, so then I've got the wrong car coming through.
I think next up the road is Sean Johnson, which is this McLaren 720S here, which is I think in the British colours of the Air Force, or is it the Navy colours with the blue sort of camo colours?
Yeah, certainly looking very nice. We see number 52. It is Sean Johnson. As you said, he's a bit up the road, but if you look at the time, Peter Geldnys is still right behind Rian van der Westhuizen. That's for 11th and 10th. That car's number 88 and 69. So they're still fighting it out there in the background. They were just out of sight there. There they come through now. So what's happening in the lead? 3/4 of a second between Chris Collison in the lead and also with the fastest lap.
Let's have a look.
So 0.8 of a second behind him is Jason Underwood. Again, Team Harder Racing is killing the competition, and Sean Olivier is trying to keep them honest. He's only 0.3 of a second behind them. So that's what we're looking at now out of Sean Olivier's car, 4X Racing, and it's Team Harder and Team Harder ahead of him as they finish another lap.
Now this is interesting. Chris has got fastest lap at the moment, but it looks like they bolted at the start, and now Sean is catching them. Oh, Harvey,
Yeah.
that was close. Wow.
Yeah.
So I think Sean has taken it a bit easier at the start, and that's maybe helped his tyre life, because he seems to have caught him quite a lot in the last 2 laps.
It was one of the questions we saw during the week, whether they have to change tyres, and the immediate answer was no, you don't have to. But we were discussing it in the break, and the chances are that in a full hour, the way they're running now, and just to give you an idea, they have 49 minutes to go. Then certainly if they're running at this pace, and the cars that you see now, first, second, third and fourth, that's Chris, Jason, Sean and Timo, are all on the hard compound. So that's going to be interesting to see, the 3 cars that you see in this trio are first, second and third, and how those hard compound tyres are going to differ from the first medium is Gerrit Beekes. Now, Gerrit was nice and quick in qualifying. He's a bit further back in the medium, which probably won't last as long, and that's only my opinion, and he might have to go in for tyres earlier. There you see him. He was the second of those 2 cars, and they are 5.5 seconds. It's Timo Smit and Gerrit Beekes. Timo will be the car with the yellow, that's the Minions Racing, and Gerrit Beekes number 3 behind him. So whether the medium is going to be worth it, but Gerrit Beekes is on the medium and Jandre Dippenaar is on the hard, and Timo is also on a hard. So the hard tyres, I think, will probably have a longer life, and we did think they might be a little bit slower, but I think also, as you said, whether they got the tyres hot on the start or not, and now they've allowed them to cool down a bit, but certainly they're not getting away from Sean Olivier.
He's really close to the front. Sean's giving Jason a hard time, then suddenly Jason finds a bit of pace. Now he's giving Chris a hard time. So this is really, really close here at the moment.
Yeah, you miss the racing line, or you put a wheel on the grass or whatever, you're going to lose a position. And I think the gap between the 3 of them and Timo being 5.8 seconds, you could probably come back. Let's say theoretically Chris would make a mistake. He would be able to join in third and still be in the top 3 ahead of Timo, because they're now a long way back. And points are points if they stay. But as we said, I also said to Dennis in the break that you'll probably notice that commentary is going to be less hectic. Being an endurance race, you've got to get the voice to last. And yeah, at the moment, let's see where else we've got. And the one battle that's still raging is Donny Belafonte, only half a second behind Jandre du Toit. But wasn't Jandre du Toit at the back and is recovering? Or was that Jandre? And if it's Jandre, then
Let's have a look.
there's Donny, Jandre, du Toit, the Boeing Brigade is the 737 car. That's in 13th, and he's got Donny Belafonte behind him by half a second. So there's the Boeing Brigade. I said they're lime green and black, and there's the Porsche car of Donny right there with him. And they, a nice little battle running there, and Dinesh Singh about 0.8 of a second behind the two of them. So who knows, there you can see the blue stripes of Dinesh, his car. We were mentioning it earlier, and I'm just trying to see if Tony is about 2 seconds behind them, so he's not going to be part of this trio. But yeah, at this stage, the Boeing Brigade, Jean-Ray Detoy, he's getting away from Donny. He was half a second. He's now almost a full second ahead of Donny Belafonte. So the Porsche holding on for dear life and certainly chasing very hard. And we'll see what they're going to do. This stage, Jean-Ray Detoy running the Aston Martin. So it's nice to see, we've mentioned it before, and we'll probably say it a few times in this championship, the fact that there are so many manufacturers out on track, and PZN Racing running the Aston Martin. And yeah, with that color, you can't miss them. Certainly is a very bright green. There's the Fach Auto Tech Esport car of Donny Belafonte, and he's in 14th position. Certainly going strong in the Porsche.
Mona Detoy is Jean-Ray's father and teammate. He's also in a bright orange car, but he's in a Ferrari, while Jean-Ray is in a Aston Martin. So the cars look the same, but they're actually two different manufacturers.
Different, yeah. And once you've chosen a car, what you're racing in race one, that's what you'll be racing for the rest of the whole championship.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
we see some of the drivers in the pits. We see Monet is currently in the pits. He has a DNF, unfortunately, so I'm not too sure what happened to him. And then, of course, we have Harvey Ghost and Dani Stander back in the pits. I'm going to presume that they have not served the correct penalty, so they are back in the pits. Perhaps didn't read their penalty boxes.
Yeah, they get going again, which is good. But yeah, it certainly doesn't do your race time any good at all.
So currently we have Marius van Wyk in 20th position. He's for Deltec Esports. I actually used to be a part of the Deltec team. I drove for them many years ago in the GPVWC.
Is that a deep being passed at speed? Yes, it is. And let's try and find a number there. I think is it 50 or 60?
I think that's him passing for 19th place. That is then what Stan Bezednert.
Stan is 36, but that was certainly, I don't know whether he had a problem or but certainly it came with no challenge. No, I think he seems to be up to pace now again, and he's going back at him, but let's try and find them on the leaderboard. Where's the deep gotten to now? Was that Dinesh? My apologies if it's Dinesh.
This is Stan Bezednert. This is our series sponsor, IBFUSA.
And Stan, did he get past Andre Hildebrand that easily? Maybe it was a back marker, I don't know. But certainly he went around with the greatest of ease, so maybe it was a back marker. And Stan is chasing Marius van Wyk, which is number 77. So just to give you an idea, and that is Stan's in 20th and Morris in 19th position. And
right behind them is Andre Hildebrand. So a nice battle here for 19th place.
Andre Hildebrand, number 72, trying his best to get at them. And as we said, in a race like this, you'll find that little races develop within the race, and it'll be evolving throughout the race because there's still 42 minutes, 20 seconds to go. So you can see the leaderboard down to, well, it doesn't have the whole, it's got down to 15th, and then some of the cars that are at the bottom in 21st to 25th. And Harvey Ghost is already a lap down. As you said, we're not quite sure what happened, what the penalty was for, and whether it was served incorrectly, and then Harvey was called in again. And GDR Racing, 24th and 25th.
Stan is losing it there. Andre getting past. Of course, this is the battle for the final point stop at 20th place. So Stan has now lost his point. Andre has just gained a point.
and the 1 point the fastest lap at this stage, but that could change if the guys time their pit stop towards the end of the race. You'll potentially be light on fuel, and if you make the decision to go in for a set of softs and you actually take a fastest lap then, so there's a bonus point to be had. But at this moment it's the race leader Chris Collison that also has the fastest lap. And I recall in the sprint race of 6 laps, we said they're running just over 2 minutes. I think it was 2 minutes 00 point something. So for this race, they obviously fueled a lot heavier, and the chances are the hards, now that the shine has gone off them, don't have the grips that they potentially had if they were running soft tires. I didn't look at it in the sprint race, but yeah, the difference 3 seconds more, 3 1/3, 3.35 seconds they're running over 2 minutes, where previously they were running in the 0.1 or the 0.2 of a 2 minute dead. So the heavier car, more fuel, you've got to make your tires last, so you back it off a little bit. All you have to do is stay ahead of the guy in front of you, which Chris Collison has now done very successfully. He's 2 seconds ahead of Jason Underwood. Jason is 5 seconds ahead of Timo Smit. And then it's Sean Willifeed, that's 1.2 seconds behind Timo Smit in 4th. So you can see the gaps there as well. The gaps that you see there are the total that each of those cars are behind the race leader. Those that I've been giving you as the lap scoring monitor gives me is the lap between each of the cars. So a big gap now between Jason Underwood and Timo Smit, 7 seconds. I'm not sure whether Timo's made a mistake. Or it was there's 8 seconds between Timo and Sean for 3rd and 4th, Sean Willifeed. So that's not going to change any time in a hurry. So Rian van der Westhuizen, we're looking ahead at Jean-Ray de Tooy, and ahead of Jean-Ray is Jeffrey Roux. So this is for 11th, 12th and 13th. So they're in sight, but nowhere near mounting a challenge the way they're positioned at the moment. But you can be sure that Rian is going to be trying to change that scenario very, very quickly and try and get at the car ahead of him, and obviously then score more points.
It looks like you were saying, Genre is coming through the field because he's got past Rian by the looks of things. He's now chasing down a new driver, Jeffrey. This is Jeffrey's first race with us. So welcome, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey's doing well. He's in the top, or almost in the top 1/3, which is certainly worth a mention. But
also only Audi driver.
I don't think new to sim racing. He's probably just done it elsewhere, but certainly getting along at a nice rate.
Just looking at some of the battles, we still have Sean Willifeed really, really close behind Timo, who I guess Timo has got past him at some point without us seeing. I had been watching, and the gap with Timo looked like it was extending, but I'm assuming that Sean has made a mistake because he's dropped down. He's now basically 6 seconds behind the leader. Chris has actually started to pull away from Jason as well, so Chris has put lots and lots of practice in, and he seems to be slowly pulling away from his teammate. He's got the fastest lap, but only by about 0.03 faster than Jason, but he seems to be more consistent. Timo seems to have taken it really easy at the start and seems to be coming strong now, and Sean looked like he maybe took the first few laps easy and then came strong, and maybe now he's made a mistake and just lost 3rd place. So we'll see now. Can he challenge Timo? Is he going to go forward? Time will tell.
The touch, dab on the brakes, and Sean seemed to get that complex done better than Timo did. If that's just a visual deception, I don't know. Is this going down the hanger straight at the back, and they'll be into Stowe, which is the quickest part of the circuit. It's a sweeping right-hander, and then it's straight. And if you see the pit lane peel off to the right, that's Vale. If I've got my corners correct. And there should be an S, and then they'll finish and start. But look at Sean Willifeed getting back at Timo Smit, and that's certainly not deception of the eye. You can see that he's fighting back really, really hard. Yep, I was on the right part of the circuit, thank goodness.
He wants his podium.
And they're down the Hamilton straight. Then there's a sweep to the right, which is called Abbey. Then there's a sweep to the left, which is called Farm Curve, which is where they are now. Then Village, which is a sharp corner to the right. And there's the pass. and we saw that coming. Even though he lost the position, it must have been a mistake, as you said. And what has happened is Gerrit Beukers is only 1.3 seconds adrift. So if he's been further back with these two fighting each other, that's giving him a chance to catch up to them. And certainly a newcomer to what we've been watching in this racing, well, in sim racing and certainly in Sim Experience South Africa, but Gerrit Beukers is doing very, very well and running very quick. If we look at his best lap time, it's a 2:04.6, which is not very far off the car in front of him, Timo Smit, whose best time is a 2:04.37. So certainly we're going to, I think, see a lot more of Mr. Beukers in the later stage, well, in the duration of this championship. And watch out for car number 03. So there's Gerrit, nice and bright in the livery of the BP Racing team. So you'll see the yellow and the green, and then he has white and black to go with it. So yeah, nice looking skin he's got there. And he's chasing down Timo Smit, who you'll recognize as the Minions racing car. I think, is this looking back from Timo's car? The yellow and the black gives it away.
It is looking back at Gerrit, yes.
Yes. So I certainly need to do, well, I needed, because it's past tense now, can't go back in time, but I should have done a bit more homework on the points to recognize around the circuit, because what makes Kyalami, just as a off the topic point of conversation, is you've got big uphills and big downhills, and it certainly helps to identify where you are on the circuit. But as I said before, this used to be an airfield, so everything's pretty flat. There's no downhills and uphills. So you've actually got to recognize the corner, but there's things like this on the finish line and the grandstands, you can't miss that. So this is the Hamilton Straight, but there's other pieces. There's a Ferris wheel around, and one has to notice where that is, just to help you identify where the cars are running on the circuit. But I think you can all see the picture, and they are probably more interested in what the guys are doing as to where they are on the circuit. But it's nice to get to know the corner names as well.
Yeah, corner names definitely do help, but I guess some people don't understand where you are no matter the names.
Yes. If you're wondering where Silverstone Circuit is, as the crow flies, it's 25 kilometers from Milton Keynes. And you might say, well, where the hell is Milton Keynes, and why do I mention that? It's the headquarters of Red Bull Racing, the F1 team. So whether that's of any significance. So yes, it's 25 kilometers is what, 2.5. It's about 18. Well, no, we're in kilometers. So it's, I've got to get my maths in reverse. I wanted to go to miles now. I thought, why? We're a kilometer country, we're a metric country. But for the British competitors, it's not very far from Milton Keynes. So,
Most of the Formula One teams are based around this area, apparently.
Yep. So it's a nice track. I think it's, except for going uphill and downhill, and it doesn't seem to have any camber change from what I've seen. So it's a fairly level from left to right track, and it's nice and wide. But for cornering ability, I think if you've got your car set up for Silverstone, it'll run well anywhere, because you've got a good combination of left and right, high speed sweeps and slow corners. If you take the combo village and then the loop, those are two. The village is 90 degree right, the loop is about 130 degree left, and that's in the complex about 3 corners after the Hamilton Straight. So if they're going to stay, or if we can potentially stay with Timo or somebody looking forward, we can go through the corners at some stage. So this is looking forward from Gerrit in the BP Racing car. So I think this is
Timo running wide there.
That's village. This is the loop, which is the continuous left. It's about 130 degrees worth. Then they're going to get to Aintree, which is a fast sweep, again to the left. Then they have a bit of a rest down the Wellington Straight. You hear all these names that come out of the war. Then they're going to have Brooklands, which is quite a sharp corner to the left. And then they've got a long continuous, here's Brooklands now. Then they've got Luffield, which is a long, well, it's a continuous right, and it carries on forever. And then once you get out of that, you're hardly out of it. You've got a short piece of straight, and then you have another sweeping right, which is Woodcote. I think they'll take this flat out. Then they've got a bit of a rest, and they can go down the straight. And This is then Brooklands. I think this you said was the endurance race grid. Then it's Cops, which is right. And then they go through a right-left combination, followed by another right-hand immediately thereafter. So that's Maggots and Beckett's. Then they have Chapel Curve, which is also taken, I think, flat out. So Chapel Curve is slightly to the left. Then they have the Hanger Straight. That's the one that I said the Formula One cars get to 325 kilometers an hour. So yeah, you can flex your fingers, take a bit of a breather, grab a sip of water, and then they'll be braking hard, and it's a nice overtaking maneuver. Is it done? Or it's right next door. Is he going to get it past? Yes, he does, and he gets it nice and clean as well, and he's given the space, which is credit to the drivers. That's Stowe Corner. Then there's a bit of a change of direction, not much. Then it's Vale. Then there's a very sharp S, which is the last but one corner, which is Club, and as they get out of Club, they get back into the Hamilton Straight for the finish line, and that's one lap around Silverstone racetrack.
Thank you very much. It was very entertaining. As you're
Don't ask me to do it without my map to guide me in front of me here.
As you're watching Adrian Nel coming through the field quite nicely up to 5th place at the moment, as we've just seen him make the pass for 5th place on Gerrit Bukes.
Lock up there by Gerrit, so he will lose more distance. The Porsche seems to be handling very well. Let's have a look. And the reason he's get past him so well, while they last him, Adrian Nel's on softs. So it's going to be interesting at what point, considering they're halfway in time through this race now. So maybe that was a very good ploy if he took into consideration he's got to go in for fuel once. Maybe he's going to do fuel and tires. We'll have to wait and see. Well, if he goes for softs again, we probably won't know if he's changed, but he certainly has shown that a set of softs can run on this track for 30 minutes.
I think the problem is doing a tire stop is going to be a lot longer than just doing a fuel stop, because they do the one and then they do that. They don't do them simultaneously.
Oh, so he's got to come in for 2 stops, or do they have to change tires and then put in fuel?
Yeah, they'll do it at the same stop, but they'll have to do the one thing and then do the other, so they don't do all of it at the same time.
Yeah, same as Le Mans. You've got to do, yes. Okay, so, noted. So that makes it a long stop, but whether it's worth it, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. He doesn't have the quickest lap, which Chris Colliston still holds on to with a set of hard tires, but certainly interesting racing. Timo Smit is going to have Adrian Nel up his exhaust very, very soon. So we wait and see when that's going to happen, because that Porsche really is handling very, very well. There he goes into the pits.
Let's watch him do his pit stop. We haven't yet watched the driver do a pit stop. Let's have a look. See what it is. He
As
goes
also
down.
does the BP racing car, if I recall, just behind him. Oh, there's one coming out. Bang! That's, well, I'm not sure what the rules say here, but whether that was an unsafe release or not. There goes the BP colored car.
I don't know about that, but that is interesting what happened there, because a lot of the drivers don't realize how realistic rFactor is. A lot of the sims, you can drive through cars in the pits. rFactor, you can't. And I think that's called Adrian. He drives a Assetto Corsa a lot, and a Assetto Corsa you can drive. Once you're in the pits, it's like you're all ghosts. Here, you're still drivers. Pit lane is the most dangerous place in real racing, and it is in rFactor as well.
Yeah. There was a saying many years ago, there was this campaign that speed kills, and we had long discussions amongst ourselves, including Roger McCleary, who I know very well, and his son Grant McCleary, who raced for the Opel team in touring cars. He instructs driving or driver skills at Gerotech, and they actually amongst themselves and us changed the statement. It's not speed that kills, it's the difference in speed that kills. So I think the same is exactly, the car coming out of the pits there was actually going at about 5 kilometers an hour, if that. But then as it Adrian that was going in, was going a lot faster. So, but you've also have to have visual awareness and all that sort of thing. It's easy to talk out of an armchair. Yeah, I think it's a lot more difficult if you're in the race car proper. But certainly, I think the guys will go back and have a look at that and put it down as a lesson learned.
I see Adrian got a penalty now. I don't know, that it might be from his incident in the pits.
Yes, it would be interesting to know. Well, I'm not sure whether one can look it up in the logs on the server, but certainly I can't remember who was being released, or maybe Adrian. I don't even know if they have speed limit in the pits and whether it gets measured. All those what ifs scenarios that one can answer after the time. But certainly it's going to make a change on Adrian. We're just trying to see where he's out in 12th position. Just to give you, well, we've had a lot to talk about. Chris Collison still leads and still has the fastest lap, and he's 2.2 seconds ahead of Jason Underwood. Now, didn't we say that at one stage that lead was 6 seconds or something like that? So maybe Jason has been gentle on the tires and is now gradually coming back at Chris. So that's first and second, Team Harder Racing. Then Sean Olivier is 4.5 seconds behind Jason Underwood, and that's car number 137. Timo Smith, number 84, is running in 4th position, and Stanton Augustus from that Porsche team, car number 997, is running in 5th position and doing very well. We welcome them. There's his teammate Donny Bellafronte, that's in 10th position. So that team, Stanton Augustus, is running 5th, and Donny is now up into 9th. So that team is certainly doing very well. Donny getting past, which of the Dippenars is it? There's 2 of them. So it'll be Jandre Dippenaar and Richard Sillier that Donny's got past. So Donny up into 7th position now, and certainly running a good race. This is not him that you see here. I think that's Richard Sillier in the PZN colors.
This is Donny.
There's
Yeah.
Donny, in the Porsche. So certainly running, and a smooth driver, using everything available to him. And once he got past, he actually showed a clean pair of heels. And at this stage, still the 4 front runners are on hard compound. Donny it's shown here on mediums, Jandre on hard, and Stanton Augustus. So the 2 guys in the Porsche team are running mediums. So maybe they know more than we do about this circuit, and whether they can, A, make the fuel last, and B, make the tires last. It's going to be interesting to see with 24 minutes, 40 seconds to go.
As we can see in the graphic there on the left, that now shows you the tires that the guys are running. So H is obviously hard, and M is medium, and S is soft. We have one driver that is not using the same tires throughout, and that's Sean Johnson. He's running hards on the front, mediums on the rear. It looks like everyone else is symmetrical.
And there's only one set of softs, that's Jeffrey Roux, and he's running in 13th position. There's another one, which is Mornay de Toy, but I think Mornay's a DNF at the moment, so that doesn't matter. So the DNFs are Mornay, Julian Brains, and Adib Hamildin that are no longer running on the track. So we have cars up to position 26.
So Jean de Toy, good to see him racing. He's had some issues, as we see Stan Bezadno just getting a penalty. That's probably a pit lane infringement, maybe speeding. Jean de Toy has had many issues with the servo disconnecting and all sorts of issues, which we seem to have fixed. So thankfully he's racing, so he made the races, and I'm glad to see him, and he's doing really well. He's currently in 6th place.
Might not recognize the car, but it's an Aston Martin. The Porsches are easy to recognize depending on how they're painted. Sometimes people think, oh, but that's a Ferrari, you must know that. But although I do commentating, I'm not in GT3 racing that good a car fundi, but it's nice to see the Aston Martin going around and well positioned at that. So the 737 car is going around very nicely. I'm just trying to see where he is. The Boeing Brigade is in 6th position, Jean-Ray Dutoy.
Sorry to butt in. Stanton Augustus is going forward at quite a rate. He's now up to 4th. He has 3rd place in his sights, as they're busy lapping some of the drivers. I think that's Peter Murray that they're lapping now.
He's right up to Timo Smith in 3rd position, only half a second behind him. So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened to Sean Olivier, because he's gone backwards. In fact, that might be him going to the pits. It is indeed.
So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars that are running very, very close together, of which Stanton Augustus, number 997 in the white and red Porsche, is the 3rd of the 5. So with the 2 guys fighting each other in front of him, he has a double car. Ooh, that's not going to... I wonder whether they're going to allow that.
Yeah, that's definitely a cut.
They're going to ping him for that one, for track limits. And
I think he was just worried about Harvey maybe turning in, so he tried to turn a bit more, and it went over the edge.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see, unless He's behind, so I think he stayed behind. So now he takes a position. Oh, no, he doesn't. He was trying to, but he didn't. So Harvey mixing it up 1 lap down, I think. Let's just confirm that. He's actually 2 laps down. But Harvey, for a moment there, amongst some of the quicker cars, of which Donnie was one. But yes, whether Donnie was doing that just to make sure that he stayed clear or not, we don't know. I don't think he gained an advantage. But as we said, we don't always know what the decision is.
Timo lives to fight another day. As they're coming through the back markers, possibly that's what's slowed Sean Olivier down.
Yes.
Also, that might be, he's pitted now. That might be why he's pitted now. They're now coming up to the back markers. It's a good time to pit. You don't get slowed up as much. You can get in, do your thing, get out, get up to full speed, and hopefully not lose as much time.
21 minutes to go. And certainly Chris Collison has made this his own race. He has his teammate 3 seconds, well, 2.9 behind him. But they seem to be running. Let's find, is there a column that says last lap? No, there isn't. So yes, there it is. 2:05.681 for Chris Collison and a 2:05.859. So within 0.2 of a second, they are running the same lap times. And Chris Collison is 22 and Jason Underwood is number 11.
We also just got the fastest lap of the race by Adrian now, at 2:02.431. So that's a pretty hot lap, that.
Yeah, and Adrian is running in 12th position. So even if things were to finish the way they are now, he'll get points for 12th plus 1 for the fastest lap. So he takes it away. The previous fastest lap was Chris's. That was a 2:03.357, and he now runs a 2:02.431. So that's about, just quick maths in my head tells me, 0.9 of a second quicker. So yes, that is a very, quite a lot quicker. And it's also on a hard compound. So it just goes to show, I think as the cars get lighter as well, they will be quicker. But, you know, are they going to get the fuel to last? Under 20 minutes to go.
I'm just going to set something here that keeps cycling. So the moment we're seeing the tires, I'm going to just set it so that it cycles and we can see the time gaps and keep up with the details. And maybe we can see the number of stops. It'll be quite interesting to know.
Yeah, who's been in and who hasn't. That car that you see there is Jeffrey Roux, and he's running car number 61 in 13th position. So, and I believe that's an Audi. So certainly you can see the back end there, it slows back. And I think at one stage you actually got to see the 4 rings. And of course in German, their advertising banner or slogan is Vorsprung durch Technik. So, and you advance through well, what's technique? That's, I suppose, technical ability. It would be the English translation. So
I can never remember, but I'm trying to think of what Audi used to be before they were Audi. They used to make motorbikes as well. My granddad raced one.
Auto Union?
Auto Union, that's it, yes.
Yeah. And somehow they link to the DKW as well.
Sorry, DKW, that's it.
Yes.
DKW became Auto Union. Auto Union
And there's a
is
song
kind
that
of...
I'm probably going to give you an earworm now because it'll stick. Is that a ring, ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
That sort of tells you the story about the DKW. They smoked, they made that sort of noise. But yes, very interesting. They were light. But small cars, we see them at Cars in the Park. There's still quite a few of them still running. There's a very pretty looking Mercedes coming towards us now. Car number 22 is Chris Collison. So Chris Collison, is that a back marker that he has put between himself and his teammate? To wait and see. But wait a minute, that can't be Chris Collison. I thought I read 22, but 22 is Chris Collison. So there's 22, that's Chris Collison. And that's not a Mercedes. So we'll wait to see if we can see that dark Mercedes again so that I can potentially get the number right.
Jump back there now.
Right, is
We
that the BP?
That is a BP car behind him, yes. We do have another Mercedes in the race. Although we had 29 enter, or 30 enter, but I believe the other one was a new driver, Wayne, and I think he disconnected.
Yeah, this is... Well, Donnie Stonder's got going again, even though he was in the pits and he's running 22nd and chasing Stan Besaidnout for 21st. So even that far back. So yeah, the Mercedes is running, but it's giving away, or it's giving way. In other words, giving up the position without trying to block at all. So
I just had to go to on with this car. Sounds fantastic.
it's 240. No, is that 243? So I've got to do a quick scroll to see if I can find 243. That's Donnie Stander. So Donnie Stander is in 22nd position. So he has himself behind Stan Besaidnout. So is that Stan Besaidnout in front of him?
It's indeed Donnie Stander.
Yeah. Yeah. So he runs the Mercedes, and it has a nice, or a very interesting hexagonal pattern on the bonnet, which makes, I think, probably it's either a wrap if they were to do this in real life, because to paint that would be a nightmare. But most of these cars are wrapped in real life. So this is a very interesting paint scheme that he has, and one would remember it looking forward. So he's teammate of Harvey Goos. He's Donnie Stander, GDR Racing, and that's Harvey and Donnie Racing. That's where the GDR comes from, I believe, Dennis?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Yeah. So I think, in this, I wouldn't say you don't have to take it too seriously. Obviously, you're going to race to win. But if you don't win, then I think your next purpose would be go for a podium. And if you can't do that, go for the top 5. But if I thought he had a moment there, but it was just my screen that had a moment. But if you can't do that, then I think your focus must be go out there and have a lot of fun. So you've got to finish the race, see if you can get some points, and if you do score points, then that's a bonus. Again, yielding the position without too much. Maybe the driver's still getting used to the circuit, the driver's getting used to the car, but he's now slowed down quite a lot. The guys are getting past him quite quickly, so we'll have to see who's the next one. If that is number 60 that's behind him, it's Hilke Virenga, car number 60, behind Donnie Stander, 243, that Mercedes we were talking about. So we'll see if that's going to change at all.
See in the background we have the other Ferrari. I'm just trying to think, who was it? I can't remember. Was that Rudy? I think it was Rudy. We haven't actually seen Rudy this race at all. He's just quietly doing his thing in the background. That's Rudy.
Let's have a look where he is stuck on.
26th at the moment.
Yeah,
Rudy,
he's the last runner at this stage, car number 518.
yeah, not having had the best run at the moment. I think he had an incident at the start as well, and maybe he got a penalty at the start, so I think he's had lots of things slow him down.
And I think on that corner, if I just look at the way that the curbs unsettle the car, then I think maybe that corner you'll do better not using the curbs than to actually, or if you do use them, not as much as what he just did. And while we've been having fun at the fair, we have less than 14 minutes to go.
Yeah, the driver's actually hanging in there quite nicely. The gaps are not that big actually throughout the field.
Gerrit Beekes, that was running quite high up, is in 9th. He's on mediums,
And making a
he's
pass.
chasing Donnie Bellafronte.
Yeah, and making the pass, and by the looks of it, and has it done?
Yep. Remember, Donnie was running mediums as well. So Gerrit Beekes gets past. He's up into 8th position now. Gerrit running car number 3, Donnie running car number 996. Remember when we were running BMWs, it was so nice. Some of the guys have done it on their skin. About in front of the right-hand side, they put the number at an angle. So if you go in car, you can see the number, and it certainly does help for commentary when you can identify the car very quickly.
Yeah.
In front of 997 is, okay, it's probably a back marker because Timo Smith doesn't run that color car. That's Timo, I think, further up. Let's see from Donnie how far everybody is ahead of him. That's 1 and then 4.5 and then 6 or 5. So yeah, that's, I think they, as we see them on the road, is not necessarily as they are running in real life, and they might be getting through back markers at this stage.
I think that's Peter Murray that's between Timo and Donnie.
Yes, in the bright orange car.
Because I think there's the Namibian flag on the roof.
And he's running in 18th position, car number 420, Peter Murray.
Unfortunately, I think he was given a stop-go penalty or something, so he lost a lot of places, but showing he still got the pace, so he definitely had race pace if it wasn't for the incidents.
Here you can see looking back from Peters, or no, looking back from the car ahead of Peters, so it's probably, is it Marius van Wyk that
Marius
is looking
van
back
Wyk,
at, yeah, back at Peter Murray, or somebody using a bit more of the track than what he's meant to on cutting that corner. So, but who's that giving up the position there? 77, I think it was, but
That
potentially
is Morris.
72.
Yeah. Morris is
Yeah,
the purple car.
Yeah, so he's given up that position, and they are settling into positions now. 11 minutes 20 to go. So how many laps have we completed? 24. So we'll do another 5 at least. I did say 29, did I, Dennis? Before the race started, at a
Yes.
rough guess, I said 29 laps. We'll see how close we get to that. Because I'm just working it out. In the sprint race, they were doing 2-minute dead virtually, but in this race, the quickest lap is a 2:02.195 by Adrian Nel. So that's quick. It's in fact more than a second quicker than Chris Collison's previous fastest lap. So 2:02.195 by Adrian Nel, and that's car number 15. And the quickest lap by Chris Collison was at 2:03.357. That's 1.1 seconds or thereabout. That's demon fast, if you consider. But then again, once you settled and you're running 2.6 seconds ahead of your teammate, so he can actually fend for you from behind, then I don't think you're too worried about the fastest lap anymore.
I notice our leaders have not done pit stops yet.
Yeah, if you look at their last laps, they're down in the 2:05s now, as are the top 3. That's Chris Collison, Jason Underwood, and Timo Smits, the last laps. All of them running at 2:05. In fact, Chris Collison almost running at 2:06, a 2:05.9, a 2:05.1 from Jason Underwood, and a 2:05 dead from Timo Smit. So, and that's the point I was trying to make, is they've probably slowed down to make the tires. They're still on the hards. Stanton Augustus behind them in 4th position, car number 997, the Porsche. That's running on mediums. And none of those cars have been into the pits either for fuel or for tires. And there are 9.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, so this could be, well, it could be an interesting finish if those tires just suddenly hit the cliff.
Yeah. Well, Stanton Augustus has back markers behind him because he has only 1.6 seconds that he's behind Timo Smit. So if you look, there's Stanton coming through the corner now in that red and white Porsche. And in front of him, there's the Minions car of Timo Smit. So this is for position 3rd and 4th. So the Porsche is pushing hard and Stanton is on mediums, whereas Timo's on hards. So that's going to be interesting with just under 9 minutes to go. So yeah, we're looking forward out of the Porsche. Stanton Augustus going for the podium.
So let's see, 1.6 seconds, how much will he gain a lap?
Well, I'm just trying to see where they are on the circuit. We'll have to check when they finish and then look at their last lap times to see what the difference was. Because the lap which was gone through the timing the last time, Stanton did a 2:05.1 and Timo did a 2:04.7. So Timo the last time round was 0.4 of a second quicker. So Timo holding his own for now. I'm sure he'll be very aware of the fact that he's fighting for podium position here in the sprint race.
Do you think that Stanton was maybe held up by Peter Murray being between them? Because since he got past Peter Murray, which was on this lap, he's noticeably got faster. In certain parts of the track, he's caught up. Looks like the times are going to be very much neutral on this lap. There we go.
0.1 of a second.
Yeah, a fraction faster than Timo.
Yes, and my apologies, I said the sprint race. This is the main race. I was going to ask something you get the points scored, half points for the sprint and full points for this race, and then combined for the race day. So at this stage, Chris and Jason are 1st and 2nd, and I think Timo is 3rd, because that's the way they ran in the sprint and that's the way they're running in the main race.
Well, did Jason not win the sprint race? I believe Jason won the sprint race.
Okay, so then Jason is going to get a few less points than Chris for the main race, and it's gonna be very interesting, and it's gonna keep it very close.
I think Chris will have 2 points over Jason because there's, I think, 2 points difference between race 1's first and second, and I think there's 4 points difference in race 2. So I think he will then gain 2 points over Chris, if my math is correct.
Just to butt in, sorry Dennis, Timo Smith got past this back marker down the straight, and now Stanton has to fight the back marker through the curves, and you can see that I think it's a Ferrari, and the Ferrari is not, well, in the wrong place at the right time from Stanton's perspective. So Stanton really battling to get past, and you'll see there he's now got a bit of open space, and I think that is Wellington Straight that they're going down now, and then it's going to be those Brooklands and Luffield, which are sharp curves. He makes the pass and makes it stick quite comfortably, and well driven by both of them, making it giving enough space. And I must get rid of the word but nonetheless, Timo, I think when they come across the start finish line the next time with 5 3/4 minutes to go, you'll probably see that Timo's lap time is going to be quite a bit better than Stanton's lap time, purely because he made the pass on the back marker at the right place. Timo gets past another back marker, I think it's the Mercedes, and then there's again curvy bits that are going to be in the way from Stanton's perspective. So I think it's making life very hard for Stanton to keep up with Timo Smith, never mind pass him, because the back markers are in the wrong place for him. There they actually get out of the way, which is very nice. What car is Timo running?
That is the Corvette C7.
The one Corvette. It's working for him, let me tell you that. If you look, now that you mention it, the blunt back end, you recognize it from the back more than what you do from the front. But now Stanton has Timo to aim at, and that's all that he has to look at. But I see back markers in the distance for Timo, so maybe that's going to change things. It's just under 5 minutes to run.
You have Jean-Andre de Toy challenging Yandre Dippenaar for 6th place.
PZN manner. Let's see how they're doing. So
they want top honors for the team.
Yeah,
Currently,
that's 6th and
Yandre has
7th
it
on the road. Yeah, and Yandre running car number 9 in 6th, and Jean-Andre running car number 737 in 7th.
Just seeing how the drivers are passing the back markers. As they were passing the one Ferrari of Rudy there in the previous passes with the back markers, we saw how he held the driver up through the S's and then moved over on the straight. Drivers were told in driver's briefing that's how you must drive. The driver being passed must just drive his own race and then move over when it's safe to do so. They mustn't back off into the corners and cause incidents, and the drivers making the pass mustn't be aggressive and force their way past when it's not ready to be passed. So nice to see the guys driving like that.
Yes, I think it's a very good ruling, because a race isn't won or lost on one corner. So hold your racing line through the curves so that the guy that is chasing you knows what to expect. But then he also knows that when you go down the straight, you're also going to hold your line in a straight line and not weave. And then he has the opportunity to get past you in a nice, orderly fashion.
So unfortunately, Yandre has now lost the PZN honors to Jean-Andre.
Yes, swap round. There's that 737 is in 6th, and Yandre number 09 is in 7th position. Doesn't mean he's going to stop chasing. So certainly going very hard at it. But what is happening is Jason Underwood is now only, it was just now 2 point something of a second. Jason is now only 0.9 of a second behind Chris Collison. Here they are for 1st and 2nd.
Yeah,
and
well
we
spotted.
Have just under 3 minutes to run.
Yeah. This is going to be very, very tight to the end. I'm sure Chris is sweating at this point. Well, I'm sure they all are with the amount of work they've had to do to drive for an hour, or hour and a half actually.
I just want to see when they cross the finish line, because if they have still quite a distance to run to the finish line, then they might have 2:29. They might get there in under 1 lap's time to go, and then, in other words, we might be starting the last lap when we get there next. Let's see now, 2:17. It's going to be very close whether they do 1 more lap or whether they do 2 more laps. But I think at this stage they're going down the straight, and it's 2:09. They're going to get over the timing monitor, and when they next go over the finish line, they'll be on their last lap. So it's going to be 29.
As you predicted, correctly.
So you get lucky sometimes.
I guess with enough practice, you work these things out a bit easier. Jason having a slight moment there on the brakes and giving Chris a bit of a breathing room. Looks like...
Yeah, it's 1.3 now where it was 0.9. So as you say, just a little bit of a mistake. It's 0.3 of a second. So last lap with 1.5 minutes to go. Just want to go and have a look at... What did I want to go and have a look at? I suppose it's a bit late now. Wanted to see if anybody actually gave feedback on what the sound levels were like. Feedback, no, nobody got any feedback on the audio levels, but I suppose no complaints from anybody. So if you do hear us, pop us a note on the YouTube channel whether the audio levels were good during the race from us commentators. There's Jason Underwood, age 33, Team Honda Racing, running the Aston Martin, and of course he's a multiple previous champion and going very well. The Aston Martin certainly has behaved itself, and he has driven it extremely well. Car number 11.
Jason is, of course, a professional cricketer in the UK. He's South African but UK based. Living over there now. Also has real world racing experience. He has done karting here in South Africa in Cape Town.
I think Jason has decided enough. Let's make the tyres last. Where it was 0.9, it's now 1.9. They are on the last lap. So rather discretion being the better part of valor, he's decided I'll settle for second and I'll take the points and we'll go to the next round and see how we can get through that to make some more points. And just as a reminder, in case you missed it, the next round is Nürburgring, the Grand Prix circuit of the Nürburgring.
Here we see Yonder Dupinol hasn't given up yet. He wants this place.
Yeah, these guys fight for everything right to the end. So
it's team pride. You're going to fight right to the end.
Yeah, the first guy you've got to beat on the track is your teammate. That's the first and foremost thing. And having said that, I think Lewis Hamilton's not a happy chappy at the moment because he's been beaten fairly often this year by his teammate, both in qualifying and in race pace. So, yeah.
I believe that's the finish. Chris, I believe, just took the checkered flag from Jason.
Yes, there wasn't much of a change. So they proved us wrong. They made it on one tank of fuel and they made it on one set of tires.
Yes. I'm sure there'll be tracks where that won't work, like Monza, for example, where you're on the throttle flat out for much longer.
Yes, I was saying that there are many corners. I can actually, while you gurgle for a bit, let me count them quickly. 1, 2.
All right, Sean coming across into the final sector here, coming down to the final chicane, which for the life of me, I can never remember the name of all the corners. I can remember Maggots, Beckett's, Cops, Stowe. Right, final corner.
Yeah. There's depending what you count as a corner or not, there's 17 or 18 corners at least on this track. So as you said, they're not going to be at full tilt all the time, which probably saves fuel for them because they're going to be off the throttle. But on the circuits that have long straights and fast sweeps, where they're going to be at full tilt a lot of the time, then certainly fuel is going to be a very precious item in this race.
And it looks like we're down to almost top 10 of Donny. Donny making up the top 10.
Yes. He was higher up earlier on, but then I'm not sure if that medium tire let him down. And Adrian now, I only noticed now that had that quick lap, is on softs. So I wonder whether Adrian now went in for a tire change, because I didn't make a note of what he started on. But whether he went in and started on softs, and I recall Adrian going in. And I wonder whether that was for another set of softs, because there's no rule saying that you have to run the race on 2 different compounds. You can go in to change tires, and I suppose you can change to whatever you like. But for Adrian, a 9th position, running on softs, that's not too bad. In Stanton Augustus from the Porsche team, he ran the race on a set of mediums and finished 4th. So that's quite interesting. 3 hards, a medium, then 3 hards again, a medium soft. And that's the top, what was that, 9th position, thereabouts.
I'm going to jump to an ad break. I think the server's about to tick over. We'll be back shortly.
Great stuff. Thanks, Dennis.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is it. The round is over. We are here for the interviews for the first round of the IBF USA GT3 World Series, coming to you live from Silverstone in the UK. Let's have a look at our drivers that have made it to the top three. We have Chris Collister taking first place overall from Jason Underwood and Timo Smith. So let's start off with Chris. Chris, absolutely fantastic way to start the season. You had all kinds of issues coming into this round up until the last minute there, all sorts of weird issues. Amazing start to the season. Just give us a rundown of everything.
Yeah, that was a bit worrying leading up to it, computer gremlins and all that, but looks like we all made it onto the grid as far as I can see, and fantastic. Loved every minute of it. Completely exhausted now, though. That's a lot of concentration to keep them cars pointed forward for an hour.
Absolutely fantastic and well done. And then Jason, yourself as well. Great meeting. It looked like at some points there towards the end you were catching Chris and then just had a little bit of a moment. Lost it a bit and didn't manage to pass him, but I believe you won the first race, so the points between you and the championship are extremely close at the moment. In fact, I think it's 58 versus 57 across the championship, so very close, 1 point between you guys.
Yeah, hi there, and hi to Sean again. Good to have you guys back. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, these endurance events. But it was good racing all around. Obviously, first race there was myself, Chris, and Timo, and Sean up front. I think all four of us were separated by less than a second in the first race. Kept us all on our toes, which was good. Second race, Chris has got a NOS button at the start of the race, so he got ahead of me. But yeah, then it was just trying to maintain the tires all the way through. Yeah, I must say also the back markers were very good, so thank you to everyone. They got out the way. That's very appreciative. It was very nice. And well done to Timo as well. So yeah, good start. It's only the first round, so not reading too much into the point situation. But yeah, it's good start for us and Team Harder.
Yeah, well done. And Timo, a fantastic drive from you, the only Corvette in the field, so fantastic to see a Corvette making it so high up the grid, and you look like you were possibly going to have pole position, and then you lost it just at the last minutes to one of the Team Hard drivers, and race one just didn't quite go your way, and race two seemed to sort of fall a little bit away. Did you struggle perhaps with tire wear, with it being the Corvette? Is it an issue with tires, or what was it that you seem to have the pace in a single lap, just not over the duration of the race? You seem to sort of be quite a lot slower over the Team Harder drivers.
Yeah, that's right, Dennis. Thanks. Well, first of all, congrats to Team Harder. Well done, Chris and Jason. You guys really deserve the result that you got tonight with all the effort that you put in.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the qualifying surprised me, to be honest. I don't think on the practice sheets I think I was top 7 maybe. So it was a good qualifying result for us. First race, I could keep up with the guys in front. Only reason being that they ran the mediums and I took a gamble on the softs. So yeah, second last lap I made a mistake. I went into a corner and just something weird happened. So, but I think that's about the limit of the soft tires in any case. And then, but still fourth, good result. So actually happy with that. And then second race, like you say, I think a lot of data to be analyzed in terms of strategy, in terms of the Corvette. I mean, the Corvette itself drives beautifully. I have no complaints over there. I could see the Aston Martins kind of accelerating a lot faster than me out of the corners, but then through Beckett's maggots, I could kind of catch up with them. So I need to kind of look at the data afterwards to understand why that is happening. But I think we've got a solid package. So I'm absolutely stoked to be in third. So thank you for the opportunity.
It's a pleasure and congratulations. So I'm unfortunately going to leave the interviews at that because we are pushed for time. My power is about to go off. So I'm going to say thank you to you drivers. I'm just actually going to drop you guys out into the main chat if you don't mind. But congratulations once again, and hopefully we see you guys back on the podium in the next rounds. But hopefully Sean and I can just have a quick goodbye before I go. I got about a minute or two before my power is out, and I've lost my controls here. But just to let everyone know what's happening with the rounds. So next round we will have, if I can find it here, get that away.
Nürburgring, I think it is, Dennis.
That is correct. It will be Nürburgring next. And then after that, Twin Ring, Motegi, Imola, Long Beach, Spa, Mexico Grand Prix, Montreal, Sebring, and Monza Grand Prix. So that will be it. I'm going to wrap it up just like that. So thank you very much, Sean, for joining us. It's been
Thanks, Dennis. It was a load of fun.
It's a fantastic series. Good to see 30 drivers on the track, and awesome to have you in the commentary with me. And hopefully we'll have just a successful race next week. So until then, thank you very much, everyone, and we will catch you then.
Good night, everybody.